Ladies and gentlemen, the central government has introduced a bill in the Rajya Sabha on appointment of future chief election commissioners and election commissioners of India. Remember, they are part of the Election Commission of India, which is responsible for conducting the elections all across the country. Now, the said bill, viewers, proposes a 3-member committee for the purpose, led by the Prime Minister, which will also have the leader of opposition and a cabinet minister nominated by the Prime Minister. Now, this diverges from a Supreme Court ruling of March this year, which stated categorically that the committee should consist of the Prime Minister, the leader of opposition, and the Chief Justice of India. So the bill essentially drops the CJI to include a cabinet minister, virtually giving the ruling government a majority in the 3-member committee. Now, if you remember earlier, the process was that the government will send the name to the president, the recommendations, and the president then used to approve the election commission. There were a lot of questions raised. The opposition said that it has to be free from any interference as far as the government is concerned, and that is possibly the reason why this petition was put in. But as soon as this bill, in fact, was introduced, opposition leaders have alleged that the government is undermining the directive from the Constitution bench of the Supreme Court and are also questioning, that's what the opposition is saying, the government's intent behind this change in the bill that has been brought in the Parliament for the appointment of the Chief Election Commissioners and the Election Commissioners.
आज जो बिल लाया गया है जिसमें माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी और विपक्ष का नेता और एक कोई सरकार का मंत्री 3 लोगों की कमेटी होगी, तो मैं समझता हूं कि निर्वाचन आयोग को सक्षम बनाने के लिए, पारदर्शी बनाने के लिए, सही ढंग से, प्रभावी ढंग से काम करने के लिए ये जो बिल जो लाया गया है बहुत ही सही है।
ये गैर लोकतांत्रिक बिल है। ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी की, नरेंद्र मोदी जी की इस देश के ऊपर कब्जा करने की साजिश है। 2 बीजेपी के आदमी मिलकर बीजेपी के आदमी को मुख्य चुनाव आयुक्त बनाएंगे और वो बीजेपी के लोगों को जिताएगा, तो देश में लोकतंत्र कहाँ रह गया। मैं प्रधानमंत्री जी आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ, जब आपने राज्यसभा के अंदर ये बिल पेश किया, क्यों नहीं विपक्ष की सुनी गई?
So is the government, by excluding the Chief Justice of India from the appointment of Election Commissioners Bill, Selection Committee, are they doing anything contrary to the law or in contempt of the Supreme Court? Well, legally, absolutely not. As the Supreme Court judgment clearly states that the judgment appointing the CJI to a selection committee will continue to hold good till a law is made by the Parliament. So now the government has exercised that option, and technically the government has moved to make a new law through the Parliament, and hence they are not in contravention or in contempt as far as the Supreme Court is concerned. But viewers, now remember that the Supreme Court directive had come after questions were raised on the appointment process of election commissioners, and with an intent to ensure the independence of the Election Commission of India. So I just want to very quickly at this moment bring you up to speed with what was the spirit as far as the Supreme Court order was concerned, which came on March 2nd, 2023. In its verdict, the Supreme Court had said the elections should undoubtedly be fair, and the buck stops with the Election Commission. In fact, the Election Commission is duty-bound to act in a fair and free manner. The Election Commission cannot claim to be independent, then act in an unfair manner. These were, in fact, the wordings of the Supreme Court judgment. The power of the ballot is supreme, capable of unseating most powerful parties. A party in power will have a near insatiable quest to continue in the saddle. Huge surge in role of money, power, and criminalization in politics. The Supreme Court also said a pliable election commission offers the surest gateway to acquisition and retention of power. Democracy can succeed only if all stakeholders work to maintain the purity of the polls. And the Supreme Court then in the end said if purity of elections is not maintained, it would lead to disastrous consequences. Election Commission must remain aloof from all forms of interference from the executive. That, ladies and gentlemen, was the very spirit of the judgment that was passed by the Supreme Court. So, but the government now exercising their right to make a law on this, is it going against that spirit? That is one question that we'll try and discuss. This development, ladies and gentlemen, is also significant because there is a vacancy which is set to occur in the Election Commission, as the Election Commissioner, Mr. Anup Chandra Pandey, is due to retire in February 2024, which will be closer to the announcement of the 2024 Lok Sabha election schedule. The question that we are raising at this moment, Independent Election Commission, does Centre will dilute the Supreme Court verdict?